DJ Payne 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CEO Sports Show for September 19th, 2025. And on today's episode, we will be recapping the Bills versus the Dolphins Thursday Night Football Week 3. We are already starting Week 3 of the NFL season. That's crazy. It feels like yesterday we were in Week 1 of preseason, and now we are here. So how are you guys doing on this Friday morning? I appreciate you guys for stopping by the CEO Sports Show. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, make sure to check the homepage of the CEO Sports Show. We have multiple shows here on the on the Kretschman Media Network. We have, if you like boxing, if you like college football, if you like regular football, if you like basketball, anything, we have it. We're trying to be as multiple as possible in the sports media landscape. So if you haven't already, please make sure to go check them out. So on today's episode, we're going to be recapping the game from yesterday, talking about both of the teams individually. Not only that, we're going to be talking about another Miami team, the Miami Hurricanes, and why I feel great about their chances of doing some big things this season in college football. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, so let's start off with the Thursday night game. I thought it was a good game, to be honest with you. I'm actually surprised that it was as close as it was there for a bit. I mean, I believe it was in the fourth quarter. It was a tied game, which was surprising to me. But then, I mean, look, did you ever think that the Bills were going to lose this game? And that's the mark of a great team. That's the mark of a great team. When you're tied in a game, when the games are close, you have no doubt that they're going to pull it out. Never a doubt that they're going to pull it out. And that's what I felt yesterday with the Miami Dolphins. I always felt they're going to pull this game out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because they have a better roster. Two, they have the best quarterback in the game. And that's what it comes down to. No matter what game the Bills are in, doesn't matter who they're playing against, they stand a very good chance to win that game because of who they have playing quarterback. It's very impressive what the Bills have here and how special of a season they could potentially have. This Bills team, I feel like, and we're going to talk more about the Bills after the recap. Actually, I'll wait to talk about them because I want to talk about what they did in this game. Josh Allen, 22 for 28, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was very efficient. It wasn't the regular Josh Allen game that we see where he's throwing for 300 plus and making a difference on the ground. It wasn't one of those type of games, but you don't need those type of games every single week because if he did that every single week, he wouldn't be the starting quarterback of the Bills anymore because he probably would have gotten hurt by now, right? You don't need that every single week from Josh Allen. You need that in spots from Josh Allen. And that's what he does. He has those type of games in spots. He doesn't need to have that every single week. And he definitely doesn't need to have that against the Miami Dolphins to win a game. He was efficient. He was on time. He was accurate. He was making plays all game, the right plays all game. So shout out to Josh Allen for his performance yesterday. He also contributed 25 yards on the ground. So, another game that goes into the hat of Josh Allen when it comes to potentially winning another MVP. Their run game was very efficient yesterday. James Cook, 19 carries, 108 yards, 5.7 yards per attempt and a touchdown. That's the thing with Buffalo, with James Cook. They have an explosive running back. Like, James Cook is the type of guy that can create explosive plays on the ground. And you have a quarterback that's able to create explosive plays as well. So that's what makes that very special there. I was impressed with what I saw from Dalton Kincaid yesterday. Hopefully this is the year where you say, wow, this guy is going to break out. Khalil Shakir, Elijah Moore, Keon Coleman, their wide receiver room and their pass catching options, they're not great, but they're enough with the quarterback that they have in Josh Allen that they can be a very effective offense. I thought defensively they played pretty well. And here's the thing, right? I'm going to talk about this more when I talk about the Bills. Like, the Dolphins, it was do or die for them. If we're being 100% honest, it's do or die for them. Like, they had to win this game yesterday and they didn't win it. Like, or a lot of things in their organization, it looks like it's probably going to change. And really this game came down to the fact that, again, Tua in a big spot threw an interception that changed the game. I mean, look, Buffalo scored before Tua threw that interception, but that was a point in the game where you're driving. You could have potentially made a play to tie the game, and Tua threw an interception. It's all too common. All too common for Tua. They really have to rethink some things over there in Miami. They really do. Overall from this game, my takeaway is it wasn't the most impressive performance from the Bills, but if you're going to have a performance that I come away saying, it wasn't that impressive, and you still put up 31 points and you win by double digits against the team in your division, means you're probably a really damn good team. My expectations for the team are very high. So I want to talk about the Bills coming out of this Miami Dolphins game. If you're picking a team to win the Super Bowl right now, Bills have got to be easily within the top 3 teams that you think of, especially this year with Kansas City not in the mix. I don't think they're going to be in the mix this year. I think they're going to struggle to make the playoffs. Kansas City reminds me of the 2022 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where it's like, you have to respect them because of who they have at quarterback, but overall, they're just not that good of a football team. And I look at the Bills and I don't think that. I think they're a very, very good football team. And with Josh Allen playing the way that he's playing, and the fact that he's able to, at the flip, like he turns on that switch and he becomes Superman. It's very impressive to see. The Bills, to me right now, if I'm picking a team to win the Super Bowl, it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. And it's for multiple reasons, but it starts with the quarterback, right? Josh Allen, to me, there is a gap between Josh Allen and the second best quarterback in the game. That's how big of a gap it is, because I think Lamar Jackson is the second best quarterback in the game right now. But when you look at Josh Allen and his postseason performances and the fact that his game does not drop off come postseason time, compared to the fact that Lamar Jackson's game absolutely drops off during the postseason, that's why I think he's the best quarterback in the game. And it's with a gap there. They have weapons on the team that are good enough. They can create explosives with James Cook on the ground. Keon Coleman, I think, is really starting to take that year 2 jump. You're starting to see that he's becoming a reliable receiver, as with Dalton Kincaid. And they still have Khalil Shakir, who is a reliable slot receiver. I think they have enough to move the ball offensively with the quarterback that they have, and the fact that I really do like Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator. So those things offensively, I think, are very impressive. And I think defensively, they have enough to be able to keep the game within reach for the offense to put enough points on the board to win the game. And when you look at the NFL this year, I don't think there's any great teams in the NFL. I don't think there's any great teams in the NFC side of things. I definitely don't feel like there's, and maybe Baltimore, you could say, is a great team. But again, I just cannot rely on Lamar Jackson's performance come postseason time. I can't. And I can depend on Josh Allen's performance come postseason time. And I can't depend on the Chiefs being a legitimate Super Bowl contender this year. I think they're going to struggle to win a playoff game this year. I think they're going to struggle to get in the playoffs. They're just not that good of a football team. And look, I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl preseason. So it's not necessarily hate that I don't have any hate for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just calling it for what it is. They're just not that good of a football team. And the Bills, they're a really damn good football team, potentially a great football team. And when you look around at the rest of the NFC or AFC, I'm sorry, the only team that you have to worry about are the Baltimore Ravens. Like, do you think the Chargers could give them a run for their money? I don't think they can. Can the Denver Broncos? I don't think they can. Can the Colts? I don't think they can. The only team they got to get past is the Baltimore Ravens. And they got past them last year in the playoffs. And I think, no, not the year prior. Last year, they got past them. Yeah, they have a legitimate chance here to make this happen. And this is a year for the Bills. They got to get it done this year, or they're going to have to look at making some big time changes. Not at the quarterback position, obviously, because Josh Allen comes around once in a generation. That's how good of a player he is, right? So you're not going to move on from the quarterback. You're going to move on from the coach. And that's Sean McDermott, obviously. So the Bills, they have a golden opportunity here. I don't think there's any great teams on the NFC side of things. And the AFC, the only team that really stands in your way, and they don't really stand in your way. You stand in their way. The Bills stand in the Ravens' way. But the only team I think they really should be concerned about are the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you may say, no, we have to worry about the Chiefs. I get it, and I appreciate you being unbiased, but I don't think you have to worry about the Chiefs this year. Like, I'm completely out on the Chiefs. So the Bills, they're putting some things together. They're making it happen, and credit to them because, you know, it's been a long time here for the Buffalo Bills. And also, if you're Draymond Green, let me just offer you some advice when it comes to talking about football on these platforms. If you're going to come out and start talking about football on these platforms, if you want to start getting clicks, I would advise against saying that Josh Allen is not that guy, because right now he is the guy in the NFL. I mean, what an awful take from Draymond Green. I mean, man, what the hell are you talking about? And Jordan Schultz, yeah, I'm going to agree with you because you're a player and I have to kiss up to the players because you guys pay my bills. Get out of here, man. Seriously. If you honestly believe that Josh Allen is overrated or that he's not the guy or he's not an outstanding, to me, if you have him past 2, I think you're completely and utterly wrong with your quarterback rankings. This guy is number 1, and I don't think it's very close. So the Bills, good stuff. Really, really hoping that now, obviously, I am a Cowboys fan, and I'm going to root for them to win the Super Bowl this year. But if it's not the Cowboys, I'm really hoping that the Bills make it happen and get the job done. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for Josh Allen. I'm rooting for their fan base because they absolutely deserve it. And when you look at the Bills' schedule, let's look at it for a moment because it's kind of a joke going forward here. I mean, you got the Ravens game out of the way. So, you know, you got that off your back. You won that game. They play the Saints next week on a 10-day rest. Do we think the Saints are going to win that game? No, the Bills are going to win that game. They play the Patriots the week after that, so they're going to start off 5-0. Falcons the week after that in Atlanta. They're going to win that game. That's going to be, another game where the Bills are going to win. So that's 6-0. Panthers 7-0. You have the Chiefs, who I think they're going to beat. Now, they're playing in Buffalo as well. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs, but let's just say hypothetically they lose that game. Hypothetically, I don't think they will, but let's just say for the sake of argument, they lose that game. So they're 7-1. They're going to play the Dolphins. They're going to win that game. They're 8-1. Let's say hypothetically they lose to the Buccaneers at home. Again, I'm trying to make a case for them to not go undefeated. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen because they absolutely could. So they're 8-2 then. They play the Texans in Houston. They're going to win that 9-2. Steelers in Pittsburgh 10-2. Bengals in Buffalo 11-2. Patriots in New England 12-2. Browns in Cleveland 13-2. You play Philly in Buffalo. Let's just say hypothetically they lose that game for sake of argument. They're 13-3, and then they play the Jets in New York, 14-3. Like, and by the way, I would pick the Bills to beat the Chiefs, beat the Buccaneers, and beat the Eagles. So yes, I think there's a very realistic case to be made that they could potentially go 17-0. Like, it's not even just about the fact that the team is really, really damn good. It's about the fact that the teams that they're playing are not very good at all. But also, yes, Buffalo is a fantastic football team. They have a chance to do something really, really, really special this year. And come postseason, again, like, I think the Ravens are going to be the number 2 seed this year. And like, from that standpoint, think about it like this. They're going to walk into the AFC Championship game. Walk in. Because they're going to have the bye, and then they're going to be in the divisional round. Who are they going to play in the divisional round? Maybe the Chargers, maybe the Colts, maybe one of those teams. And what do you think is going to happen? They're going to beat that team, and they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I don't think there's a safer bet right now in football than not only the Bills. Like, if you're going to pick a Super Bowl winner, I think the Bills are easily the safest bet at the current moment. So, Bills fans, be excited, because I think this is your year. Let's move on to a team that it is absolutely not their year, and that is the Miami Dolphins. It's over for Tua and Mike McDaniel. It's over. The time is come and gone. This team is not going to get to where they need to be. And if you're Miami Dolphins ownership, you have to ask yourself, are we really serious about winning a championship? Because if you're serious about winning a championship, you got to make a change at either the quarterback or the head coach, because one of those two things aren't right. And it could actually be both of those things aren't right. It could be the head coach. It could be the head coach and the quarterback. It could be just the quarterback. I think it's both. I think Mike McDaniel is a great play caller. And I know the nerdy football fans are going to look at me. How can you say you would fire Mike McDaniel? He's so elite at play calling, man. Yeah, but he's not a good head coach. Being a head coach is more than just being a great play caller. He's a great play caller, no doubt about it. But he is not a good head football coach. It's not hard to realize that. Mike McDaniel is not a good head coach. He is not good at creating the type of culture that you need to win a Super Bowl. And we saw this with Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. Yeah, he's a really good play caller. Some people in Arizona would say that he wasn't that great of a play caller in Arizona, but okay. He's an offensive coordinator. Mike McDaniel is. He's not the type of guy that's going to lead some outstanding culture. That's not his gig. That's not his role. He's not going to do that for your team. He's going to move on, and he's going to be a sought-after play caller. He's going to be an offensive coordinator. He'll have a job in the NFL because he deserves one, because he is a fantastic play caller. But, like, Ben Garcia was talking about it on his show. Make sure to check it out, the mic drop. It's like, well, if Mike McDaniel got fired, he would be at the top of the hiring list of head coaches. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. And I think what the Dolphins did with hiring Mike McDaniel is they hired the best coach for Tua, not the best head coach for the Miami Dolphins. They hired the best coach for Tua. What is Tua without Mike McDaniel? That's a question that I have. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you move on to a different quarterback and all of a sudden the team's better. Because I don't believe in Mike McDaniel as a head football coach, which is more than just being a great play caller. Yeah, you can be a great play caller, but are you a great head coach? I don't think that's the case with Mike McDaniel. And if you're Miami and you have the number 1 overall pick, you got to draft a quarterback this year. If you are the Miami Dolphins and you have the number 1 overall pick, draft a quarterback and don't think twice about it. Because these upcoming quarterback drafts, I mean, you really start to question how many good quarterbacks are coming out of college in the upcoming years here, because I don't think it's very many. They have to make a decision at that position. I understand they paid Tua. I get it. Broncos paid Russell Wilson and they moved off of him. Like, if you don't have the guy, It doesn't matter if your evaluation of the guy was wrong and you decided to pay him. You don't have the guy. Tua Tagovailoa is not the guy in Miami. There's going to be quarterbacks in this draft. I look at a guy like Garrett Nussmeier. I look at a guy like John Mater, who I think could be guys who could be franchise quarterbacks. Maybe Lenore Sellers comes out this year. Maybe Cade Klubnik gets it together and you start to say, hey, he might be an NFL quarterback. But you got to make a decision at that position, and you can't think twice about it. Because the decision that you made previously about Tua and having him be your starting quarterback, I'm here to tell you, it wasn't the right decision to make. The Dolphins absolutely should be regretting their decision paying Tua Tagovailoa, and not only that, taking Tua Tagovailoa over Justin Herbert. Because, man, this team to me has had talented rosters. They've had rosters that they could potentially make something happen with. And they fell short. Why? They didn't have the quarterback. And that's it at the end of the day. What are we on, year 4 with Mike McDaniel? And the question that you ask yourself is this it? Like, did they reach their ceiling? And if they reach their ceiling, you absolutely have to make a change. And, well, I don't think that's even a question. They reached their ceiling. You're not going to have as many talented teams as you had, like the Miami Dolphins. I think the 2023 team, if they had Justin Herbert with that team, I mean, you're talking about a potential Super Bowl contender. I mean, that defense was very solid personnel-wise, and you had Vic Fangio. And that's probably why Vic Fangio wanted to leave the Dolphins, because he didn't like the culture with the football team. And that probably drove him crazy, which is why he ended up leaving. But, man, the Dolphins, it's over. It's done. Their season is over. They're not doing anything this year. I mean, like, when you look at their schedule coming up, I think that they're going to let this thing play out with the Dolphins, because when you look at their schedule, they have the Jets next week in Miami on Monday Night Football. Is that correct? That's a Monday Night Football game? That's crazy. They're going to lose that game. They're not beating the Jets. They're not. I shouldn't say they're not going to. I don't think they're going to beat the Jets. I don't think they stand a good chance. Panthers in Carolina. It's not a give me. I would pick the Dolphins. Chargers in Miami. That's the Chargers. Dolphins in Cleveland. That's a toss up. I don't feel great about that game. Like, I see easily with the Bills, they have 3 losses, and I think games that I think they're definitely going to lose. The Chargers, so that's 4 losses. The Ravens, that's 5 losses. The Bills, again, that's 6 losses. The Buccaneers, that's 7 losses. They still have the Commanders, Falcons, the Steelers. Like, I only see 5 wins for this team this year. And that's a rough spot to be in. That really is, because if you win 5 games, is that good enough to get the number 1 overall pick? I don't know if it is. Well, bad enough to get the number 1 overall pick. I don't know if it is. But what I do know about this team is they need to make changes, and they need to make them fast. Now, from one team in Miami to maybe the best team in Miami from a football perspective, and that is Miami, the Hurricanes. They're looking great. They're looking great this year. I don't think it's crazy to say that the Miami Hurricanes are the best team in the country. I think they could go into SEC fields, SEC teams, play them and beat them. I think the only teams in the SEC that would give them problems, Georgia, LSU. And I don't know if I would pick against Miami in those games. They have a really damn good defensive line. I think PFF graded them top 5 in both pass rush and run defense. So they have no concerns on their defensive line when it comes to either phase of that unit. They have a quarterback that's experienced. I know Carson Beck got a lot of slander coming into the season, but he's experienced. And now he's playing in Miami. He looks like a much different quarterback. I mean, they beat South Florida 49-12. They beat them 49-12. That's impressive. Like, South Florida is not just some, bad football team. Like, no, they're a very good program. And Miami put belt to behind against that team. They have Florida this upcoming weekend. I think they win that game. Then they have Florida State. That's going to be a very interesting game. Outside of Florida State, I don't see a loss on their schedule. And that's not even to say that they're going to lose to Florida State. Like, I think they're going to beat Florida on Saturday. And then Florida State, even if they lose that game, they have Louisville, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. Who are they losing to there? I don't think they're losing to anybody. They're going to cruise into the ACC championship game. They probably will. They could win the ACC. I'm not going to write off Florida State because Florida State looks really, really damn impressive this year. But when you look around the country, the top teams in the country to me are, I think it's Ohio State, Penn State, Miami, Oregon, Georgia, and then you have LSU. Not in that order. Just saying, like, those are the 6 teams to me that really stand out. And Florida State's another team that's up there where you look at them and you say, oh, they can really make some things happen as well. So I forgot to include them, but I'm going to include them because they're a team that can make something happen. But can Florida win the national championship this year? No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. They're one of those teams, like with Mario Cristobal, their program isn't established to the extent of an Ohio State, an LSU, a Georgia, right? So, like, I feel like a lot of college football fans are going to be hesitant to say that they can make it happen. But unlike last year, their defense is really, really good. And not only that, but they have a quarterback. I don't think Carson Beck's Cam Ward, but they have a quarterback that has experience playing against SEC teams. And now, granted, like, they're playing an SEC team this weekend. Outside of that, for the rest of the year, they don't play an SEC team. They're not going to play one until the college football playoffs. So, and it's probably not going to be at an SEC stadium because I think they're probably going to win the ACC this year. Florida State, they look impressive. I think Miami's a better football team than them. So I think they're going to get a top 4 seed. They're going to get a bye, and then they're not going to have to go on the road to play in an SEC or Big Ten team. They're going to play them on a neutral site. And I think the only teams that are going to give Miami fits, like Ohio State, I think they're better than Penn State. I think they're better than LSU, which is saying something because I'm extremely high on LSU. I think they're even better than Georgia. I think the only team that's going to give them a problem is Ohio State. Like, that's how good I think Miami is. They have a quarterback. They have receivers. Those receivers are good. Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels, their offensive line is good. They have a good running back. Man, like, they have a team that you look at and you say, yeah, they can win it all. Mark Fletcher Jr., by the way, the name escaped me for a second. That's the running back. He is excellent. Like, I don't see many flaws with this team. And when you're looking at potential national championship contenders, you're looking for potential flaws. And I don't think Miami has that. So I'm impressed with what I've seen so far from them. And they stand a real good chance here. But that's going to be it for the episode, though, guys. If you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.